What is up, Teach Better family? Happy Friday to you. It's basically the weekend at this point. I'm Jeff. I'm super, super excited to have one of our amazing Teach Better 22 conference speakers with me tonight, Dr. Maribeth Edmunds, we've already been talking for a while. We've had a great conversation.
Absolutely.
I hope I asked the right questions to get you all the awesomeness that I've already got tonight. But we're super excited to talk to about Maribeth's session at the conference, what she's bringing, the passion she's got for it that I've already experienced so far talking, and just talk about the conference in general. If you're interested in the conference, it's over at teachbetterconference.com. You can get all the info, including the entire lineup and all the amazing speakers we have. We got a lot of these lives going on, but tonight we are focused on you, my friend, and we're going to come right back. We're going to talk all about your session, your mission, what you're trying to bring to the conference. If you are watching with us live or if you're watching after, it doesn't matter to me. Drop in the comments, let us know where you're watching from. Are you coming to the conference? Are you excited about it? What are you excited about? We're going to be back here in just a couple seconds. All right, welcome back. We are live right now on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. We are chatting with our friend, Dr. Maribeth Edmunds, who is one of our many awesome featured speakers at our Teach Better Conference 2022. Maribeth, how are you tonight? How are you feeling right now?
I am stoked. I am absolutely
That's a good
stoked.
word for it.
I have the Teach Better Conference, the graphics, all the music. I'm just getting charged up. So
Yes.
If you want to know how I feel tonight, stoked.
Stoked. That's a good word. I like that. We're going to go with that as the word for the night. Stoked. I love it. So before we jump into all the things that we're stoked about, I'm going to use that a whole lot tonight. For those that are watching that maybe haven't connected with you yet and don't necessarily know who you are and are excited to meet a new face and a new, hopefully, friend, can you give us a little bit of the intro? Like, who are you? What do you do? What's going on? You've had a pretty awesome transition not too long ago that I think you should absolutely share. But just kind of, who are you? What's your experience in education? What do you do?
Okay, so I am Dr. M.B. Edmunds, Maribeth Edmunds. I've been in education over 40 years. I've been an English teacher and a principal and a central office director. And now, since exiting public education January 1st, people call it retire. I don't call it that. I call it inspire. Ever since January 1st, I've been inspired and I launched my own consulting business, Edmunds Out Enterprises. And what I plan to do with that, Jeff, and for all of the folks who may be out there listening, is to help families in school navigate the world of autism for their children and also for their autistic adults who may be in the world trying to find their place. So I'm also adjunct professor. I've done that at 2 different universities. So I also teach graduate level students and I'm working my way through writing a book. So I've been doing all of that. And of course, I want to come to Teach Better in October and share some of the things that I know and learn from others. So I think that's.
You've got a lot going on right now. That's writing a book, and that's an endeavor in itself. I mean, launching your own thing, that's huge. I want to talk. I think everyone who knows me knows my mind was going to go, I want to talk to you about your consultant and all that. So I'm going to just talk briefly about that, and then we're going to get into the conference. When you do your work there, are you doing like small group work? Are you working with the teachers, with the administrators, with everyone? Like, what's your target? Like, who do you get most passionate about working with, I guess?
Well,
I can ask that.
Here's the passion. I'm the parent of autistic adult who's 40 years old. So I've been in this world for a good long while. And when my son was first diagnosed back in the 80s, the prevalence of autism in the general population was about 1 in 10,000. Today, fast forward 2021, the estimates are 1 in every 44 children is being diagnosed. Wow. So we have a huge trajectory here. Yeah. So when my son was diagnosed, I was told he'd probably be the only person that I would ever meet as with autism. And now that's certainly turned the table because I think probably everybody knows at least one person now
Yeah.
who is on the spectrum. So who do I work with? Well, I work with parents and parent groups to help them understand what they're working with. I would want to work with parents and schools together to build their knowledge and their understanding so that they can collaborate and not work against one another, but work with one another. Because the hard part of this is that everybody who has autism probably looks different from the next person who has autism, and that's really hard to understand. I myself had difficulty with the whole notion of how they've changed the diagnosis, and more individuals are being diagnosed with ASD, and so the individuals themselves, the advocates themselves, are speaking up about their experience. So I think we have a lot to learn,
Yeah.
and I'm here to share my personal experience, my lived experience, my knowledge and experience as an administrator, and as someone who can help facilitate. So that's what I'm working on.
Just just incredibly important work. When you talk about just like the number of the increase in the number of people that are diagnosed and the difficulty of understanding that every single one of those people looks different and is hard. Some are just it's harder to see where they're at. Is that a result in your mind that from the broadening of the spectrum, or just the fact that we're more aware of it, so more people being diagnosed because we're starting as a collective starting to understand it more, so we're able to see it and therefore diagnose it, so that then we can put in the supports in place? Is that the reason for the increased number of people being diagnosed?
Well, what the experts are saying is that it's a combination.
Okay.
That one, they've broadened the diagnosis so that people who have repetitive behaviors, difficulty with social navigation and communication, and then kind of that touches a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
So, and then there's also the notion that we know a lot more than we did 40 years ago, obviously. But it's still puzzling that it would increase this dramatically in such a short period of time. So I honestly, they don't have all the answers. They're speculating, as you are just now.
Sure.
And so it continues to increase. I mean, every time they do the estimates, it increases. In places like California, the prevalence is even 1 in 25. In New Jersey, it's 1 in 36. So there's different places in the United States where that incidence is even higher. So
I think it just goes to show that because we don't know exactly why that is, that's even more of a reason why we have to continue to learn and share. Yeah. And we were talking before we went live on just the importance and the power of sharing with each other and just having conversations with more people. And so that's what you're looking to bring to our conference. So I want to slide into that. So give us the pitch. I don't want me to put you on the spot. The session that you're doing, sort of the pitch. We don't want to give it all away, but why should we come to the session? Like, what are you really hoping that people take away from spending some time with you at the conference?
Well, my hope is that people walk out with more knowledge than they walked in order to help their loved ones and the children that they service in schools who may be on the spectrum. Honestly, Jeff, even if we're not talking about autism spectrum disorder, we know that every good teacher needs to really understand the children who are sitting before her or him in order to design lessons intentionally and gain the desired outcomes. So if you're uncomfortable or unsure or have no knowledge about a child who may be diagnosed with autism in your classroom, you may think, well, the special ed teacher knows how to do this. I can't. So I'm not sure how to go about it. So my hope is through the session to help build that knowledge and understanding for teachers or for administrators, principals, who's ever there, to say the more knowledge you have, the more you understand, the better you can service the children and the growing adults, because they're going to be autistic when they leave us. That's just how it is. There's no cure, and there's no change. It's not something that a child will grow out of. So every autistic child that a teacher or an administrator meets is going to grow up to be an adult with autism. That's just how it is at the moment.
Mm.
So how do you prepare for that? How do you get the best outcomes by collaborating with the family? So
Yeah.
that's what I hope to talk about and give people some knowledge and skills to walk out with.
I love it. It's so important. It's incredible and very important work that you're doing. I'm super excited. As I told you before, I'm so excited that you're bringing this to the conference. I think it's really important. I think it's going to be really well received. Speaking of coming to the conference, what are you most excited about coming? Obviously, I know you're really excited about sharing this because this is your passion. So with that as the obvious, we know that. What else are you excited about coming out to the conference? Because it's a commitment. You're coming out. I know you're coming out for a few days. I think all the days. And what is it that you're fired up about? Are there certain speakers that you've seen announced that you're like, oh, I can't wait to go see him or her speak? Or what is it that's got you excited for? What's got you stoked?
Stoked. I was going to say, you forgot the word, Jeff. You forgot the word. So, well, I'm stoked about. Well, first of all, let me back up for your viewers. My husband bought an RV, so we're going to be traveling. We're taking our home with us, right? And we're coming to Akron, Ohio, and we're going to spend a little time before and after the conference, kind of the Hall of Fame and all those things that are fun to see. But I think my hope is that since we are able to be in person, we can meet people and understand the kinds of things that are important to teachers. So I'm looking forward to expanding my knowledge too, to see what's on the minds of people who come to the conference and what's urgent for them, and have these conversations that where we can exchange and build these understandings. So that's, it's kind of general, but I'm really looking forward to all of it.
But it works. That works. And you know, we were talking prior to, like, one of my favorite parts of the conference is just the getting to meet all the people. A lot of people who we already feel like we know, but we've never actually met in person. And a lot of faces that we'll meet for the first time that maybe we don't know as well, which is really exciting. I love that you've got the RV coming in. That's awesome. And I'm pretty sure prior I convinced you to make sure you're coming out on Thursday.
Yes.
Networking on Thursday, networking on Friday, networking on Saturday, and all the sessions on Friday, Saturday, which is great. I lost track where I was going to go there. I got excited about the RV again. When it comes to sessions, are you someone who's going to be like just popping into every session you can possibly fit it, like squeezing every bit of time into it, or are you gonna be really picky about which ones you go to? Like, how do you handle conferences?
Well, so this is what I do. You know, as I look over the speakers, I kind of identify ahead of time where my go-to places are, and then I do travel. So if a session, if I got from a session what I think I needed to get and I want to move on, I typically do that. And I'm not offended if somebody does that for me as well. I mean, people want to spend their time getting the information they want. So, so that's what my plan is. Again, I'm going to be focusing on inclusion, because part of my session is going to be talking about how we include our loved ones and our students with autism in the general population. I'm going to push back against isolating them in special education classrooms. You know, I'll tell you a story, Jeff, and I hope. When I was working at the high school level, I was director of secondary education for a while, and I happened to be in the library, and I was speaking with the librarian, and I said, when do the ELL kids come down? When do the life skills kids come down, the special? And they said, well, we really, their teachers want us to bring the books to the classroom because they don't want them to come down because they make noise or there's nothing for. So stop. There are kids in the school. This library is theirs as much as it is everybody else's. I don't understand why you're not bringing them down. So we revamped a whole corner of the library, and we put some easy to read books. We put dictionaries in all the languages of the kids who were in our ELL population. We had them come down and had the kids and the teachers build their own bulletin boards. in their sections of the library. And I said, no, they should be here. So just these simple things, Jeff, I think are important, and that's important to me. So anyone who's, to get back to your question, anybody who might be talking about inclusion, I'm probably going to stop in and listen to their session.
I can't wait. There's a few people in mind. I'm thinking, I can't wait till these two connect. I'm just seeing you in a bar and you two just talking and thinking of all the ideas that we need to share with people, which I think is one of my favorite things is when you see educators that didn't realize they have this connection or same passion, and they're just chatting over, a thing of fries or whatever when we're out at the network, and they start thinking of all the ways they can partner from around the country and all this stuff. And it's super exciting. So I'm really excited that you are going to be a part of it. I'm curious, how often do you go out and present at conferences? Let's pretend COVID didn't happen as much. Prior to COVID and stuff, do you do a lot of speaking and going out to conferences, or is that something that you do a lot of? Or
I didn't do that. My previous job, I was principal for 12 years. And so one of the things that happens with principal is you're on 24/7 for your school community. And so trying to get away and speak at conferences was tough, especially that I was in a smaller school. I didn't have a full-time assistant principal or a supervisor. I'm like a team of one.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And so
tough to get away.
It's tough to get away. And Jeff, what I would say in the morning was, as a driving into the building, I wonder what's going to happen today. And I was never disappointed, because regardless of what I had planned for that day, some other spontaneous thing would happen, and that would have to come to the forefront. That would be on the front burner, and the things that I thought I would get done moved to the back burner. So I have to be truthful here and say it really couldn't happen for those 12 years. So my goal now is, as I said earlier to you, I want to get out and meet people and see what people are interested in and what's urgent in their minds.
Well, we are excited that we are a conference that you are coming to, and that is great. Hopefully we'll be one of many that you continue to share your message to. So we're super excited about that. As we get ready to kind of wrap up here, I want to make sure that everyone knows how to connect with you. Obviously, your Twitter handle is right there in your name here. Where else can we get you? I want to make sure, where do we go find the new consultant company that you've launched, and anything else? Where should we go to make sure we're connected?
Edmundsout.com. www.edmundsout.com. That's my web page, and join me there. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook on Maribeth Edmunds. People can just one of those areas. I'm active on Twitter. Actually, you know what happened today? I hit 6,000 followers today.
Oh, nice.
I feel good about that.
That's good. That's a celebration. You know what? I'm going to say it. I'm stoked for you right now. I am stoked right now. That's awesome.
Yes.
So is Twitter your most active? Is that where you're most active?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. I spend a lot of my time there.
Spend a lot of time. I have to say, probably the best PD for me for the last few years has been connecting with teachers and administrators on Twitter. And as I said earlier, you ask somebody a question or you reach out for some information or research, people say yes. It's just, I think it's really astonishing to me that people don't know me, I don't know them, and we share information. It's just great.
I love it. Well, if you want the best PD, you can go to teachbetterconference.com and register right now to get it. So everything's over at teachbetterconference.com. If you want to come out and hang out with Dr. MB, we're friends now, so I'm able to call her that. Yes. Excited to have you out. You can go there, and we were talking earlier about the different the schedule. The whole schedule is up there, and we're on Schedge, the app Schedge, so you can actually set up and pick out all your sessions, so you have yourself all scheduled out and ready to go, so that you can get everything that you're looking for at the conference, and then hopefully you come out with us on Thursday night and Friday night and Saturday night and hang out with us, because I know you and I are going to be hanging out there, so it's going to be good.
Yeah, come and say hello, please.
Yes,
say hello.
And I think it was Andrew who dropped in and said that you definitely need to connect with Marie. When Marie was on, I think earlier today, we had her on. That she was one that I was thinking of. I'm like, oh, when these two connect, It's gonna be great.
Very good.
It's gonna be really, really great. She's gonna love you, and I think you're gonna love her too. So that's gonna be awesome. So I'm super excited to have you out. Really appreciate you taking some time tonight
Thank
to just
you.
share what you're coming to do and your passion. I think the work that you're doing is incredibly important, and the fact that we get to be a little bit of piece of that and a part of that and help with that is just awesome for me. That's one of, I think, my favorite things that I get to do in this role that I get to have here. So really appreciate you being on. Appreciate you dropping in and saying hello. Make sure you connect with Dr. Edmunds here and build that connection. You don't have to wait till October.
That's right. That's
You
right.
build a relationship now,
Yeah.
and that way you got the high fives or whatever we do when we meet. I don't even know what we do in person anymore. Do we? Is it elbows? Is it?
You might have to elbow.
Is it one of these where you do like a high five, but you don't quite go right? Like
I know. Just what do you do in the age of COVID, right?
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out in October. But thank you so much for jumping in and taking some time.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity. I really do. Thank you.
Well, we are looking forward to it, and we will see you all in October. Thank you. Have a good night.
Edmunds.